why are we losing jazz radio stations, broadcast stations?
I don't think people are doing their job well.
Yeah.
You know, radio is not a relic. It's how we do it. I think that a lot of people kind of come up with ideas about what programming they want to do or what would be cool, but they have to serve the listener. Now, there's some money possibly involved in this to do some research. I base my belief in this on research that we did while I was at WBGO, but at the same time, I've read a lot of articles when you say you've got to give your audience, your listeners, what they want to hear, and you've got to give it to them where they want it. Those are two things to keep in mind, and so you've got to make sure that you're doing good radio. You've got to make sure, you know, on top of that, we did it in 3 stages. We started out making sure that we sounded good as announcers, you know, and then we made sure that, and I worked with a guy named Dan O'Day, who's a commercial radio icon. And I brought him in to do it, because it doesn't matter whether you're public, news, jazz, or whatever. He's a guy who can kind of focus you how to write things, how to do things. And then we worked a little bit with the coach to work with the announcers. And then the big step was working with Jacobs Media. And they are like the king of kings when it comes to audience research. We hired them, and then they brought on Edison Media Research, and we did a research project with our listeners to learn about a lot of things, not just the music we play, but how we marketed, how our website was working, in those things. And as a result, we learned what we call our first choice, second choice, and third choice. Our P1s, P2s, and P3s liked when it came to music, and it wasn't the same. So we worked with them, and they put together a rotation, a sequencing that seems to be successful. So the audience numbers for BGO, cumulative audience, has gone up more than 11%. The average quarter-hour listening has gone from 8,000 and 9,000 to 13,000 and 14,000. So you're giving your listeners what they want. You've got to back off and pay attention to that. Now, I'm not asking or advocating that everybody spend the kind of money we spent to get that done, but there are other ways that you can do surveys, and you need to check in and learn about that. I also think that folks need to pay attention. If you're buying Radio Research Consortium or Autographics, use those people. Talk with them on a regular basis. You know, I became friends with those guys so I could learn. They didn't always tell me what I wanted to hear, but that didn't matter. So what I'm saying is, we're in jazz radio, but when you're in it, radio trumps jazz. You've got to do good radio, or you're not going to get any listeners. I don't care if you're playing the best music in the world. You've got to do good radio.
Okay, so Thurston, are you saying that WBGO has more listeners than before?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I would say on an average, 100,000 more listeners today than they were a year and a half to 2 years ago.
Okay, I'm really glad to hear that.